It's a beautiful day here to be in Austintown. I want to thank Falcon Media for having me. My name is Anthony Trafficante, your Mahoning County Commissioner, and I'm here today to kind of give the public a little bit of walkthrough and explanation of just how beautiful this memorial is here in Austintown. This is 9/11 Park, and there's one gentleman in particular that deserves a lot of credit for this park being here, and it's none other than Pat Conley. Pat has done so much work over the years to make this park what it is. And it's to the dedication to all those people who lost their lives tragically on 9/11. Not only Pat Conley, but Sam Swagger and all the volunteers and the trustees here in Austintown maintain this beautiful, beautiful memorial. And it's one of the nicest in the country in my estimation. If you would look behind me, we have two granite monuments that represent the two twin towers that were destroyed in that 9/11 attack, and these are made out of granite, and they're just beautiful. And this is kind of like the first thing you see here when you're physically going to walk into the park. So at this point, I would like to walk over and show you the I-beams that came out of the 93rd floor of the twin tower buildings. As you can see, I'm standing actually in between of the two I-beams that were on the 93rd floor of the Twin Towers that were brought down tragically in New York City on that horrific day. These beams were brought back by the likes of course, Pat Conley, who we give a lot of credit to, and the building trades, and Sam Swagger, who's very involved in this park. These beams were erected by the local building trades here, the union, here in Mahoning County. And as you can see, this is what is the outcome of how hard the planes and the heat from the fuel twisted these beams. And I'm going to tell you folks right now, these are about 1.5 inches thick, and God only knows how much rebar is in these, but it looked like somebody just bent it like a pretzel. So this gives you an idea of just how bad things were on that day. But these I-beams are very emotional to be standing here because they were actually there in that building. So now we're going to move over here to my left, and we're going to show you the non-denominational church that sits here at this beautiful memorial. Now we're inside the Nondenominational Chapel. This is one of the most beautiful little chapels that we have here in the valley, and this chapel represents those folks who lost their lives here. The wood is so beautiful. The colored windows that are in here, this is just like being in your regular church, and I have to say, it's very surreal to be standing here, and a lot of people feel at peace when they come in here. To reminisce. Maybe they had family members who died or relatives who died. And this is just one of the most beautiful chapels. And it being non-denominational, it's open to all people, all religions. And this was really, really a great addition to this memorial. And it really sums it up. So at this point, we're going to move on now, and we're going to go to the Firemen's Walk and to the Police Walk. Well, we have just left the church here, and immediately behind me and to my left, this is the Firemen's Walkway. And there are bricks here that were purchased from some local families here that you can see throughout the walkway. And then immediately behind me is the granite memorial, which represents the firemen. And if you remember, the firemen were the folks who ran into disaster and not away from disaster. And if you notice the artwork on this granite structure, it was inspired by a local artist here by the name of Ray Simon. Ray has done many, many artworks representing history and veterans throughout our community. And Ray is just one of the best artists. So if you come here, check it out. It's very, very beautiful. At this time, we will move now to my left, and we're going to go to the Policeman's Walkway and Granite Memorial. Okay, we have now arrived at the Policeman's Walkway, which represents the police that were there that tragic day. They were another safety service branch of our government who ran into the disaster, not away from the disaster. And this represents those police officers and their families, those who tragically lost their lives. Right to my left is actually the Granite Memorial, and the artwork on the Granite Memorial, which represents our police officers on that tragic day, was inspired and done by the artwork of Ray Simon, who's a local artist here. And I believe he's really hit the nail on the head with how he has captured this artwork. It gives you a very surreal feeling when you look at these memorials, and it kind of tells you, brings you back to a day that this country really was in peril. So at this point now, we're going to move on and we're going to visit the urn. Okay, we have now arrived at the urn, and this was Flight 93. If you remember, back at that time, the people in that plane that tried to take it back, the last words that they uttered before they broke in to try to retain the pilot seat was, "Let's roll." And this was dirt that was actually brought back by Pat Conley on that day in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And the remains of that dirt are inside this urn, and it is sealed. And this is a beautiful, beautiful memorial, and the way that they have done this, it really tells you, what happened that day, because when you bring back dirt of all those folks that lost their lives in that airplane, if you can think of the tragedy, if you were actually one of those passengers on there knowing you were going to die, this is really a dedication to Pat and his love and his dedication to this community, and for his service in the military and his loving this community and wanting to memorialize those people that lost their lives. So, okay, at this point now, we're going to move on and we're going to go look at the stones from the Pentagon. Now we have arrived at the memorial that actually obtains the stones that were in the Pentagon. And these materials were brought back here from none other than Pat Conley. How he was able to obtain all of this is still a mystery to me. Pat knew many things, and for him to be able to get these stones in the beams and everything you all see at this park, I don't believe any other park in the United States has what we have here. But as you can see, these stones are numbered, and they have been here for many years. And if you recall back at that day, the Pentagon was under attack, the World Trade Center was under attack, one plane was heading towards the Capitol that went down in Shanksville. The whole country was in turmoil at that time. So if you're here, please come back. It's about midway through the Memorial Park, and check out the stones that were actually there from our Pentagon. And at this time, we're going to be moving over, and we're going to go over to the beautiful gazebo that sits in this park as well. Okay, we have now arrived at the beautiful gazebo. And believe me, it's bigger than it looks. This is absolutely beautiful. If you get a chance, you can come down here, you can sit, you can notice the names on these benches that were donated. Of course, we have the DeBartolo family, we have Greenwood Chevrolet, and of course, our own Mahoning County Green Team. We were part of this. We also have the Orlando White family, Jack, and we have the Lynch family that did these donations. Also, the concrete here was done by the local cement finishers and the building trades here in Mahoning County. They did the concrete work here, and there's all union labor that they did throughout this memorial. But if you look in here, this gazebo is beautiful. It has a very high ceiling, like a vaulted ceiling. There's plenty of spaces here to sit down, come with your family, and just take in this beautiful memorial. So now we're going to go down here to my right, down the walkway, and we're going to look at the beautiful woodwork that was done by the class of 2022, the woodshop class at Fitch High School, and we're going to look at the arbors that they built. Okay, now we've arrived at these beautiful woodwork structures. I call them arbors. These were built and erected by the Fitch High School, Fitch Falcons, their woodshop class. And I was told that the taller ones were made specifically by the football players. So if you look at this wood is almost brand new. I think it was a year ago that they did it. And it's really a great addition to this memorial park. And it's nice to see how the schools are involved with doing various things here with woodshop projects to help keep this park as nice as it is, because there is a lot of wood structures here. So we want to thank Fitch High School, Fitch Falcons, all your teachers, everybody in the shop class, and all here in Austintown for having our students do these projects. I think it's great. I was very impressed by this. And if you get a chance, come down here, walk through them. You'll see what talent we have here in Austintown, Ohio. I've really enjoyed doing this today. I want to thank Falcon Media. I want to thank Zane, who was the cameraman and my inspiration to get this done. I want to thank Carla from Falcon Media. I want to thank all those at Falcon Fitch High School, particularly those students that are doing those woodshop projects and helping keep this memorial looking good. We want to thank them and their teachers and everybody here in Austintown. You have a beautiful, beautiful memorial here, and it's been an honor and a privilege for me to do this here today. If you get a chance, bring your families here, check it out. There's many things here that a lot of other parks don't have, recognizing the 911. I also want to particularly recognize and thank Sam Swager. Sam is the 9/11 committee. He is actually here today working and keeping this place beautiful. I want to thank all of his volunteers for what they have done, but Sam has done magnificent things here. He puts his heart and soul in here. So in closing, again, I am Anthony Trafficante, and I'm very privileged and honored to have been asked to do this. And I want to wish you all the best, and God bless you and your families. Thank you.